Okay, noon hey Amud Aleph when we finishing the parak today as well as moving on. Halfway down, right before the two das. But I'm gonna be a show ben Levi Haroeb Hesped Bahalamov, someone sees a Hesped, which means eulogy in his dream. Hasula ben Hashemam Miftahu means that they are redeeming him from his troubles. Right, so God is forgiving him. But that only means when the word is spared, when the word is spelled out. Okay. And also any type of wild animal or bird is also the same as a behemah in regard to kilayim. Kilayim. Kanchana Rabbi over here to be told. Kanagol kalbas. Pasioni kilayim zebazeh. A chicken, a peacock, and a certain other type of bird are all considered kilayim with each other. Right? Any type of bird mix. So Marsapshita, of course. If any type of bird, if any animal can mix, then why not? Why would you think otherwise? This is a hidush because these three animals live together in general, right? They kind of sometimes mix. So maybe you might think Maratema min hadu, therefore they're technically on the same branch. Mashmulan separate. Marshmul avaz avaz habar kil aim zabazeh. A domesticus and a wild goose are kil aim. Matkiva ravav might have a y. You know, you should the high arif koe, the high zutar koe. If you might think because one's beak is long or one beak is short. Ela ma'ata gamna parsa v'tumataya. That's the case. There may be an Arabian camel and a Persian camel. The high alim koe, the high katin koe. One neck is thick and one neck is thin. That also considered kalim. There is a actual physical difference between them regarding its be'etzim. One has external, one has internal. The wild one needs one egg, it makes only one egg at a time. And the regular domestic one can make multiple. Someone who mates two different types of sea creatures together are will get malchut as well. My time why? There's a zera shava from the word the minehu from land animals to sea animals, and therefore there's also a sort of kilayim on in the sea. Someone who lets his wagon being pulled by a goat and a fish at the same time. He hitches the two creatures. Mahu, what's that? What's the halacha? Since maybe you say since the goat can't go in, the fish can't go on dry land. Lo klum abid. It's not technically working together because they're technically separate. Well, then maybe Hashtami had to come and he maybe now that since he's actually leading it, they're working together. They're not working together. So he says maybe Matkiva Ravina. He says 1 second. And now if that's the case, someone combined the wheat grain and the barley grain in his hand. And he planted them on the border. With the wheat grain just inside and the barley grain just outside. That also consider hayav. You can't compare those cases. Over there, the Eretz Israel is considered kilayim isur. Husaris lama kom hiyuva. Husaris did not have isur kilayim. They'll both be in Eretz Israel be isur. But over here, maybe over here, since they're both working together, they will still be considered isur because they're working together. So the Gemara ends off without really answering the question. I mean, that's Perek. I don't know the Shosh Nagah to Parah, no Shosh Nagah to Parah, I don't know the Shosh Nagah at the Parah. No Perek Vav. 6 Perek. Hakones Son Ladir. Someone brought a sheep into a pen. Then Abba when he locked the gate correctly. Because Abba Hizika and went and damaged someone else's property. Patori, very good. Don't Abba Vanaka didn't block the property. Hayat Sabe Hizika and damaged. Hayav. Makes sense. Every time the thing broke and I can listim where the robbers broke it, and damage patur. Listim, if the robbers actually physically took it out, listim hayavin, then their robbers are hayav. Heni haba hamak left the sheep in the sun, which means it was cooking in the sun, and therefore it would do wild things to escape. Hashu masala hashu, if you give it to hashu, cheresh k'ragatam, bi'atzav yizikan damage, hayav, the owners have. Masala if you give it to shepherd, nehasar tachtav, the shepherd takes over the responsibility. If it went into a garden and it started enjoying the fruits there, right? It used the lashon nafal, means it actually physically fell from like the roof of its owner into the neighbor's garden, or it slipped. All right, you pay for what it benefited. It went into the garden as walk through. The owner pays for what it damaged, right? That's the difference. If it's benefited or damaged, it's a physical difference. We'll explain soon. What does it mean you're paying for this damage? Shamin betsa'a be'otas de kama haytayata. We mentioned in the betsa'a, we measure how much a betsa'a, certain amount of space we'll talk about, is worth before it was damaged, but kama yata and how much is it worth now after it's eaten, and at owners pay the difference. Rabbi Shimon says, Achla perot b'gimurin, if he ate good ripe fruit, Mishlam perot b'gimurin if he ate ripe fruit. Im se'ah, if it was a se'ah worth, pay se'ah worth. Misha times that time it was 2 se'ahs, we pay for 2 se'ahs. Okay, Rabbi. It's okay, what's considered properly and not properly locking? Again, that can be, that won't fall in a normal wind. That's regular. Generally, they can't stand in a normal wind. That's not really Marabi Mani Bar Patish. Which time it holds that is mu'ad is good enough to be watched with a regular, normal, less strong fence. The owner tied the ox with a regular rope, but now didn't lock it properly. We got something damage. David Meir. Tam Hayab Muad Patur. Muad Patur. Shinamar Belish Meir Bala, we didn't watch it. Bishamur, who's that? This one was guarded. Is there a Meir that says? En lo shmira ela sakin. You can't watch the Muad except for killing it. We had this before. So the word says 1 second. It's not necessary to do that because if you to the Meir, but even the Meir would agree over here. The ear Chayav. Shani Shen Regel, but Shen and Regel is different. Torah mi'ata b'shmertan because Torah says you don't have to watch it as much as regular damages. You do minimal is fine. Now what the other says how. I'm rather than some people say it was a brighter. There are 4 things that Torah said you don't have to watch as carefully. Bor, ve'esh, shen, regel. Bor, the board it says ish bor o ish bor below you didn't cover it. Hakisa if you covered it, it's good no matter what type of cover you used. Fire it says the person with the fire shall pay. As he's only chayav unless he was negligent while he made the fire. But if he took basic precautions while in the fire, he's fine. Shan وبيعرب السلاح هذا عبيد كأن وبيقر as long as he acted like it was consuming, meaning irresponsible, يعني خيال. Regular says بشلاح هذا عبيد كأن بشلاح is being aggressively sending his animal to damage, but if he's being careful with his animal, that's not a way it would be خيال according to his opinion. But then another says بشلاح ده regular, the sending your animal is referring to regular. the وبيرا station بشلاح regular عشان بحمر. We had us all the way in the beginning of the masajid. Right, sending the animal and the oxen and donkey. Burning, consuming is the shen. It says the tooth consumes completely. The reason why Chayav is because he acted like one who sent forth or he destroyed. I mean, he was negligent. He wasn't careful. But if he wasn't, meaning he did any type of guarding, even if it was minimal, also seemingly can be learned from this. Because I mentioned son, mechti. Let's see. Beshor, kakaskin, and baati. Until now, for the first 54 davim, our number 1 animal that we've been using is an ox. It's many shores. How come our Mishnah didn't teach shore? My Mishnah is depending on how come we were starting with the sheep. Lav Mishum that Torah mi'ata, we can teach you that Torah is reducing the level of shmira of watching. Lav Mishum de kan keren, because here there is no keren by a sheep. Shen beregel who took tibe is only shen regel mentioned in the Torah for a sheep. When it says the Shen Beregel Muadin, and the Mishnah is also teaching us that Shen and Regel are always considered Muad. Shmamina, so the truth. Tanya, a new brighter. Marbi Yeshua, Advarim Hoseo, Tan Patur Midin, there are 4 things a person does. Maybe Patur Midian from Bedin, the Hayab in Shemaim, but God will make you Hayab. Elohen. Haporetz Gadem Befini Bemel Haviro, someone who breaks the wall in front of his friend's animal. Bakofe, Hamatom Shahabro Betentleka, someone who bends his friend's grain toward the fire. I mean, and eventually it'll cause the burn, but you didn't directly burn it. Someone who hires 4 witnesses to testify. You didn't do anything wrong. They don't have to do it. I paid them, but the person is his own man. Another case, someone knows testimony that can help his friend, but he doesn't testify for him. Amar more. Haporetz gadel lefnei hatahavero, the one who breaks the wall in front of the animal. That's the case. Even if we put the body for the regular wall, should also be a chayav in front of a regular bedin, because you're allowing the animals to damage. If I cut the rope that's holding your pit bull and it starts killing people, that's usually my problem. Why would Batur? Ella, it's referring to Bekota Ra'ua, it's referring to a weak wall which didn't have value. So I made a mistake. It doesn't mean you should be high for the damages, you should be high for the actual wall, to broke your wall. So the Gemara says no, it's referring to a weak wall which didn't have any value, it's not high for the wall. More. How could if someone bends his friend's grain towards the fire? Was the case. Is referring to that after he bent the grain, the fire will reach it regularly without any special help like a regular wind. It should be a as well for the Adam, causing it to catch fire. Rather, it's not a case where it only could reach the grain through an abnormal strong wind. Rashi says, Tamun Itmar is referring to where the grain was concealed. Mishum Deshaga Tamun Be'esh, because he made the grain consider that it's hidden by fire, and hidden stuff by fire is patur, like we mentioned earlier. Third case, Marmor, someone hires for witnesses, the case, if he hired to testify for himself, he has to pay back the money that he gained. He hired false witnesses for his friend. Last case, someone who knows testimony to help his friend who doesn't testify. The Maya skin was referring to today is referring to where he had another guy who could testify with him as a pair. Pshita. Of course, you're hayav. The Torah says, "In lo yagid v'nasav." No, if you don't testify what you know, you're hayav. So if you have another guy to testify with, you have to. Even the right time. Gemara says, "Amalach" is referring to a case where he only had one person testify by himself, and therefore he could have helped. He could have helped, and you might ask, "Oh, the one guy can't testify; you need two." And it's true, but in regard to money, if one guy testifies, that can make the defendant enough to make him make a shivua. So that would have helped the case. Okay. The only four cases of Adam and not more. Someone does work with the hatat water. We had this case as well in Gitin. Right? Someone who used the hatat water for something else, or with the actual cow, right? So the paradama was burnt, and the ashes was used to mix with water, and you could sprinkle it on people to make them tahor. If the hatat ashes or the paradama was used for anything else, if you leaned on the paradama, it was considered worked with, and you can't use it anymore. So now you took that stuff, you used it, you leaned on the animal. So now you didn't do. It's like similar to hezek in any car, non-distinguishable, non-visible damage. Non-recognizable damage. Where it says, same thing. So how come we mention it? But another case. And the same someone put poison in front of his friend's animal, and the animal dies. Also have over there. But another case. So someone sent a fire with a deaf mute, shote or a katan. Another case. Fourth one. Someone who scared his friend and he causes damage. And the fifth one, someone's pitcher broke in public and he did not help, and he did not remove it pieces. Over his camel fell and they didn't stand it up. Similar to Bor. In another case, according to Hamim, at the case of and if you want to, we had this why it's not considered bore. We had Mahalka like 30 that people go for Meir and for Yehuda. So the Gemara says we have 5 cases, another seemingly the same category. So how can we mention it? In Miha Ikatuva, yes, there are more cases. But we mentioned specifically these 4, the first 4, because the Hidush that you might think that even in B'nai Shemaim should be patur. So therefore, B'nai says they even chayav in chayav in B'nai Shemaim, right? Because in Yeshua's 4 cases, there should be technically grounds to prove that he's complete patur. You might think patur, and therefore you have to teach you those cases that not only are you chayav from Adam, but you're also chayav. You're not only a patur. You're only patur from Adam, but only chayav in Shemaim. But the other cases, you might think you're chayav in Adam, also kamash only Shemaim. Let's stop there.